Gosh. It's not letting me go live. It says failed to go live. Try again.
Re-upping the link.
Hello? No, it's not. Okay. Hello? Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Everybody type in. It's saying live on my screen, so I'm just making sure that everybody can see me. You can you see my face? Can you hear me? Yes. You can see me and yes, yay? You can see me? Okay. Yay? Okay, yes and yes, cool. Someone wants to say hi to you. This is Sydney. She just wants to say hi, so you can just see your face. Okay, yay. They're all saying yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. All right, bye, baby. Love you. Awesome, awesome. Okay, hi. So I'm gonna switch over to a PowerPoint quickly, but Sydney wanted to say hi. So are we ready? So cool. Everybody just say hi as you get in here and kind of get acquainted with everything. The chat box is over, as you guys see, to the right, and you can type in there at any time that we are doing the presentation. Cool? Everybody's good? Okay, now I'm gonna flip over and I'm gonna make sure you can see my screen because that's super important. All right, so now you should see PowerPoint. Everybody can see that? Cool, yes? Christine's here, Marika's here, Audra's here, Dawn, yes, Shelly, Jessica, awesome, Kristen, Nikki, Christine, hello. Audra's here. Okay, now you shouldn't see me, you should see PowerPoint, awesome. Cool, Jenny, cool, Sarah, awesome. Hey, we multitask, that's what we do. Moms multitask. Jenny's here, awesome. Okay, cool. So we are gonna get started, and anytime you guys have questions, anything, I want you to definitely type in the chat box. This is gonna be interactive, so if you are getting dinner and you can't, answer me, that's totally fine, but if you can, I would love to hear what you're thinking, and I'm gonna ask you for comments. I'm gonna ask you to kind of do some things as we get through some of this stuff. So welcome everybody to the first session of what to expect for mompreneurs. So this session is going to be more about the who and the why of Business Beyond Baby. So as you guys know, this is a 6-week training session, and I'm going to give you as much info as I can about building an online business. I call it Business Beyond Baby because that's pretty much what we're building. And at the end of this, you will get towards the end of it, I'll say, not at the end, but towards the end, you will get the opportunity to apply for Business Beyond Baby for 2017. That is a 10-month mentorship where I kind of hold your hand and walk you through. We'll talk more about that, but you will get an opportunity to apply for the spots available, as well as a 20% off. So just keep that in the back of your head. If it's something that you know you're ready to go all in for and you're ready to do it, just keep that in mind as we go forward. So thank you for being here. I hope you have a snack, something yummy to eat, something, so we can get moving. All right. So let's talk about why you are here. So you're here because you want to find your passion. You want to become a mompreneur. You want to build a successful online business. Maybe you're thinking about making a career change, so you're employed now, you have a full-time job, you can't give that up yet, but you want to start something on the side. You want to absolutely absolutely love what you do. You want to be doing something that you love. You want to help people. And you want to find your thing outside of motherhood. So I was there, guys. I was there only 3 years ago, which is like a drop in the bucket. We talk about, I was teaching full time, and I just knew that it was something I needed to do to kind of live the life I wanted to live. I was tired of just doing what I had to do and what I thought I had to do. And I wanted that time and freedom. So you guys are way ahead of where I was. I didn't even attend an online training. I just played around and tried to dabble and tried to do it on my own, quickly figured out that wasn't the way to do it. But you guys are in the right place because you're actually here and you're here to learn and kind of figure out what you're doing. So let's talk about tonight. What are we going to learn? We're going to talk about the why behind an online business, because let's face it, there's a million resources, there's a million tools, there's a million everything out there, and it's very suffocating. It's tons of noise. And if you don't know the why behind it, I hate to say it, but most moms like just kind of quit, because there's a lot going on in our lives and we have to have that deep why of why we're doing it. We're going to talk about our voice and our message. We're going to talk about why passion is needed to build an online business. We're going to talk about branding, what type you want to be and how to do that. We're going to talk about the exact reasons you are qualified right now to build your business. So within the trainings, we're going to talk a lot about kind of the head stuff that goes with building an online business, the who of an online business, how to find your purpose, how to align your why with your goals, and why you simply cannot afford to not take action. So pretty much it's like, this is the sign, you're here, you're in this training, and you'll kind of see like you simply can't afford to not do this at this point. So hopefully we will all get super fired up, ready to take action, and of course ready for an amazing 2017. So really quick, I want you to think, take a couple of seconds to think about doing life the same way that you are right now for the next 10 years. What kind of emotion, what feeling, what's the first word that pops into your head when you think about doing life the exact same way you're doing it right now for 10 years? Type it in the chat box for me. Whatever comes to mind, just type it in. It can be any word, how it makes you feel, what's the first thing that comes to mind. If you think about being in the same situation or the same way that you're doing life right now for 10 years. All right, so I'm seeing miserable, crying, bored. Yes, I was so there, right? Bored, tired, exhausted. Yes, 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 love. Depressed, frustrated, yes. Exactly, like, oh no, right? Get me out, trapped, happy, but bored. Awesome, bored, yeah, that was, yes. So can relate to all these feelings. So we have a lot of the same stuff. Kill me now, word, Groundhog Day, awesome, quiet, cool. So much stuff, stuck, yes, exhausted, yes, like so many emotions. And guys, this is it. We've got one chance at this, right? And so why would we ever stay in a place or in a situation that's going to bring up these feelings? Like, we have kids, like, this is not the time to look back on 10 years and think, shit, like I was so bored, I was miserable, I was frustrated. Like, think about that and think about how important it is to make that change. It's just got to happen, right? Especially when we think about that. So before we get into some of the content, I want to give you a little bit of behind the scenes. I'll be giving more as we go through the 6 weeks, but this is me from before I started my business, and this was the first year of my business, 2013. So 2010, 60 hours a week, teaching full time, 8 to 10 hour days, teaching group fitness, wake up at 5, home at 8, weekends were chores and prep. So there was very little relaxed time. There was no rest time. There was nothing fun happening in my life. It was really just, can I be the busiest? Because that's what I thought I was doing. It was all about the grind, all about the hustle. I was trading time for money. So I would pick up more classes. And, you know, I was literally driving across town for $15 an hour for a group fitness class because I was trading time for money and I didn't know what getting paid for my worth was. I was staying after to prep for my classes and doing conference nights and all of this crap. I wasn't getting paid for it, but I didn't know another way. 2013, first year of my online business. Now, granted, I was able to leave my teaching job, but I still was working maybe 12 hours a week. And I was getting paid a decent amount. I wasn't replacing my income at the time, but I was able to not have to worry about that. I was still teaching group fitness. I was creating content, coaching online, and doing my Healthy Mom Lifestylers Club about 3 hours a week. So you can see a major difference in not only the workload that's involved, and I do work a lot more now, but that's only because business is grown so much that I kind of need to. But I work nowhere near 60 hours a week, and I'm going to show you a little bit about this. So this was what my typical days look like, and okay, so typical days were I would get up at 6 a.m., sometimes even earlier, work out really quick. Work was in, all of the yellow. Then I would run and either tutor or teach Group X. And then I had maybe an hour to shovel in dinner. And then it was lesson plan, grade papers, go on Pinterest for school, whatever, went to bed about 10. Saturdays was all chores and errands and meal prep, and there was very little fun. There was absolutely zero rest-based living. Again, it was completely grinding. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was injured. I just didn't know another way. But again, I didn't think there was another way. I just thought, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. This is the amount of work I need to put in. And I didn't have much to show for it. It's not like I had, all of this money. I was literally just, I was kind of scrambling because it's kind of what I needed to do. And then fast forward to, my time now, and this is more of my time now. So definitely not first year business, but this is kind of where it's gotten me to. I have a morning routine in the morning, and I wake up and I work out. That's kind of the first challenging task of my day. That's kind of how I like it. It sets the tone for me for the day. So that's something that I schedule into my day. My mornings are with my kids, and then I work during nap. And yes, I do have nap blocks. At this point, I do have help 2 days a week for Kai, because now I have 2 kids. So, and I need to work a little bit more at times. I don't always have it, but when I'm doing something that requires a lot, I do. Then I take, Sydney to dance, to gymnastics. We have family dinner. We have a lot of family time. My husband gets at least 2 hours a night for him from me, not on my phone, not working, not worried about lesson plans in school and upset. And Saturday and Sunday are really just about my kids. I choose to work on the weekends just because that's just kind of what I like to do. Again, I just like my nap time routine, but you can see a huge difference in my schedule from work time until now. So something I'd like you to do this week is I would love for you to track your days and track what's happening in your days from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and just see, like, what are you doing? Are you work, and you have like an hour with your kids? What do you want to change in there? Are you sitting at nap time with nothing to do, and you could be making money and helping people and making an impact, and that, this online business is kind of the thing for you to do. So I would love for you to track your days, and then make a dream one, right? So what would you love your weeks to look like? How much do you want to work? Would you love your mornings to be with your kids? Would you love your mornings to be at work, and then, nighttime to work on your online business? So really get detailed with this and think about what you want to change and what you would like it to look like, because there is no such thing as it can't happen. It absolutely can, but it can't unless we know that we want it to happen and we know what it wants to look like. So it wasn't until I had kids that I had that aha moment that I didn't want to miss things. I wanted to spend my days with my family. I wanted to travel. And I wanted to contribute. I wanted to help people in a way that worked for me. So I love teaching kids, but I really wanted to do things on my terms. I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to have something of my own. And so that's why I took the leap. I just knew that this was the life I wanted to live, with my kids and not having to worry about sick days and days off. And I just wanted to be there for all the moments. And so that's pretty much, that was my why, was kind of doing this and also showing my kids kind of what the possibility was. So this stuff, the why, is so overlooked, and I've done a million business programs, and they never talk about the why. They just tell you like what to do, and I think it's important to know what to do, but I also think it's important to know kind of why we're doing it, who we are, and kind of who we're talking to, because that shapes a huge piece of your online business. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the why. So we're all moms, and I think, we kind of owe it to our kids to do something outside the box to kind of show them that they can be an artist and an entrepreneur. They can be creative, because in schools today, we're just not giving kids that option. So, and I know a few of us homeschool, and I think that's, another way to kind of, put that in there. But what's better than running your online business, right? Like showing your kids, like, I'm going to set out to do this, and it's going to be hard, but I'm still going to do it, right? So of course you stay home, you're the boss. You guys know I started with a company before, and that just didn't work because it just wasn't my thing. So we're all here because we want to create a business of some kind. We want financial security or freedom or time. And so now, now it's time to do it. So I just wanted to put that up there because I think it's super important for us as moms to know, that we're kind of doing this for our kids. So you guys know I was a teacher, and I know a lot of you guys already have, you already have jobs or already in a situation where you're in a career that you just aren't happy about. So yes, you know it, but you're not passionate about it. So passionate about, we talked about passion in the Facebook group. So now, I want you to think about, what are you passionate about? What gets you excited, right? Is your job probably doesn't get you so excited. Maybe your job does, but the whole thing of being stuck in a cubicle or being trapped in the job doesn't get you excited. So for me, passion, I'm passionate about being a mompreneur. I'm passionate about the lifestyle. I'm passionate about the freedom. So that's what kept me up at night. So if you think about, what kind of keeps you up at night when you think about your passion? If you go to bed and you're thinking about something, what is it that you just can't go a day without thinking about? That's what we think about when we talk about passion. So you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. So eventually you are going to change your destination, but you're here tonight, you're changing your direction. So your business is going to evolve over time, and eventually the destination will get changed. So I want you to question the answer. So right now, think about your situation, and I want you to question where you are, question the limits, question what you're doing, and question why you're doing it. Are you in the job because you think it's just what you need to do, or you need to make a certain amount of money to support your family, so you're in this job? And question why you couldn't or why you shouldn't start this online business. So I'm going to do a quote by Steve Jobs because I think it's very, very applicable at this time. It says, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle." That's what Steve Jobs said. So I want, in the chat box, I want you to write either a yes or a no if you currently love what you do. A yes or a no. Yes if you love what you do, no if you do not love what you do. As Steve Jobs said, the only way to do great work is to truly love what you do. So if you currently love what you do, just yes, and if no, write no. Cool. Yes, yes, and no. Okay. Nice. Yeses, no's, yeses, no's. Perfect. Awesome. Yeses and no's. Love it. Yes, but I stay home with the kid. Yeah, and that does it. The mom part, of course, we love being a mom, right? We love that. So yes and no, yes and no. Okay, cool. So this quote totally hit me, and it's so true because the purpose of being a mompreneur is to live life and be there for every part of your life. And there's a very different piece of the business. So, there's no boss, there's no deadlines, and truly you're making your what you're paid to be, right? So super important to think about as far as we want to live. And so when we talked about, the word, if we think about in 10 years from now, and we think about those words, miserable and tired and all those things, that's not truly living, right? That's like drifting through life. And that's the last thing we want to do, is drift through life. All right. So now let's talk about who you are. So when you're not a mom, who are you? Okay, what do you enjoy doing? What does a perfect day look like for you? And I know for some of us, it's like, I don't even know. Like, no one's asked me about my perfect day. Like, this is not about me, right? That's kind of what we've been doing for a long time. It's just been about other people, about other things. So I just want you to think about it. So in this step of identifying your passion, identifying who you are, we have to look at your voice and your purpose, because that's the shape of your business. So your passion and who you are shapes your business to get to know your ideal client, your ideal customer, in turn create programs, products that solve the problem. But you have to know kind of who you are. When you're writing content, which we're going to get to next week, we have to know who we are, or we kind of don't know what to say. We just feel like we're saying the same thing everybody else is, right? I mean, how many times have we been like, well, I can write something, but I feel like it's already been said. I feel like everybody's already saying the same thing. I hear that all the time. Well, if we don't know who we are, then we can't really dig into that. So super important as far as what do we want to be? And my advice is to be you, 100% you. So a lot of us, we ask about, we feel like a fraud. We feel like we're not good enough. We feel like we don't have anything to say. The bottom line is you are you, and no one else can take that away from you when you are authentic and you're real. You have your experiences, right? Have you ever met someone, that you knew online and you met them in real life and they're like totally weird? So just think about who are you? And when you think about your online business, what do you want to come off? Are you going to be like professional? Are you going to be, real and, showing like the real side of like motherhood and fitness? Are you going to be sarcastic? Are you going to be funny? So think about right now, I want you to just type in the chat box, just think of 1 to 2 traits that make you an amazing person. So what are 1 to 2 things about you that make you stand out from me and from everybody else that's on this training? 1 to 2 things that kind of speak to your character that make you an amazing person. 1 to 2 words. Don't be shy. One to 2 words. It can be honest, dedicated, driven, trustworthy, funny, any of that stuff. Genuine, awesome. Caring, empathetic, funny. And something I want you to jot down is I want you to ask your husband or a friend, ask them to give you 5 characteristics of yourself to kind of see if it matches what you think, and you might just be pleasantly surprised with what they tell you. So I love it. Sarcastic, real, relatable. Some of these girls I know, and they're like real and sarcastic, which is so me, which is why we get along so well, right? Funny, kind, love it. Creative, honest, awesome. Sarcastic, perfect. So definitely do that, and I want you to just jot a note down to think of at least 5. Have those 5 things written down. We're going to use those as we go forward, and also ask your husband or a friend or someone who knows you really well to give you 5 words that kind of describe you. Type A, woohoo, Kristen, I hear you on that, girl. I'm as type A as they come. All right, so branding. All right, we talk about passion, and then we talk about your voice and your brand. So your brand is how you're seen, your online business, how you're known. That's your brand. Well, we're a personality brand. We're the face of the business. So we're going to delve into this just a little bit more. It's talking about, like, do we know who we're talking to? And that comes with knowing our ideal customer, which can't be done in one training session, but it's important to know who we're talking to. So I'm going to give you a task to do in just a moment. So think about, what do you want your brand to look like? It can be anything, but you have to know this. Your brand is your niche. And so many times we want to be everyone. We want to be something for everyone, right? We want to serve moms. We want to serve young moms and older moms. We want to do fat loss. We want to do moderation. We want to do exercise. And that just doesn't work, because we can't be like for everyone, right? So there's a saying that says the riches is in the niches, meaning as niche down as you can get, the better off your success is going to be, because you know exactly who you're talking to. So you have to decide who you're going to serve. So for example, my niche is moms. I have a certain age range of moms. I know what their day looks like. I know what keeps them up at night. I know what they've been through. I know everything about this group of mom. In fact, I have a fictitious mom in my mind of my ideal client, my ideal customer for my business. So I want you to think about that. I want you to, in the next week, and we'll talk about this in the Facebook group, I want you to start thinking about who is it you want to serve. Think about, is it men? Is it women? What age are they? Are they postpartum? What kind of lifestyle do they have? Where do they hang out? What do they do during the day? What keeps them up at night? Think about these things, because that is super, super, super important as far as who you're going to serve. And we're going to do another exercise in a little bit where we talk about kind of exactly what we want to do. But getting there is kind of knowing all of this stuff about your ideal client and where they are, because we have to know who we're talking to in order to create a product or a service or anything to eventually make money and kind of build our business. We have to know who we're talking to. Usually it's a version of yourself. Usually it's someone like you, someone that has a lot in common with you, that's in a similar stage of life or has had similar struggles as you. Usually that is who kind of we're talking about. So it's super important to know this, because we kind of feel like we want to be everyone to everyone, and we feel like that in the beginning, but as niche down as we can get, the more successful that we will be. So that's going to be one of your tasks, is to kind of think about, who do you want to serve? What kind of brand do you want to have? Always, always remember that your brand is your business and your business is your brand. So you are the face of your business. For us, this is what our business is. We're not a large corporation. Many of us are a one-man show for quite some time. So we're the brand. So if you think of the big corporations, you don't know who is behind them, right? So people come to us for us. They come to buy our products and our services because we become their people. We create raving fans because of us, right? So it's so important to know and understand, because so many times we just try to sell a product. Like, I see so many people in the entrepreneurial space, they create this amazing product and they throw it out there and it's crickets, right? Someone even said that as a fear, like they're so nervous that it's just going to be crickets. And that's totally can happen, right? It can totally happen if we don't build from the foundation. And that's what no one's doing. Like, no one's teaching people how to build a business from the foundation. So that's kind of how I teach you, is to know all of this stuff, so that when we do launch a product or service, people are waiting. They're begging you to create this thing. So then what happens, right? They buy it. So we're going to get more into this, but I just want you to remember that your brand is your business and your business is your brand. So we talk about which one are you. So we are the personality brand, where the people are attached to us as the people. The programs, products are a reflection of the person. And it's a long game thing, right? It doesn't happen overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success with a personality brand. Where the corporate brand, people are attached to, let's say, the message. The company has a brand, and there's a lot of people like behind the scenes making things happen. We're different. We're a personality brand. It's about being real and authentic. So this kind of is what happened when I did Beachbody, and I felt like I couldn't be a personality brand because I was attached to products. And as much as people who are in network marketing want to say that they are passionate about the product, you absolutely cannot be passionate about a product. You can be passionate about the result, about what you do to help people, but you just can't be passionate about a product. You can be passionate about helping people live a fit life and taking care of their skin and whatever, but you can't be passionate about the product, which is why a lot of network marketers are starting to see that and are starting to branch out, creating their own personality brand, not leaving whatever it is that they're selling, but really creating a brand around themselves so that people become attached to them and not necessarily the product, if that makes sense. All right, so earlier this week, we talked about the expert, right? And how many of you in the chat box, just let me know how many of you fear that you are not qualified enough. You don't have enough to build this online business. Maybe you don't have enough certification. You don't have enough letters after your name. You don't have enough experience, knowledge. People are going to call you out. They're going to tell you you're a fraud. How many of you guys have a little bit of that feeling? Just type a yes in the chat box if you feel a little bit like, I don't know, like maybe I'm not good enough, my knowledge isn't enough, like people are gonna call me out. Type a yes in the chat box if you kind of feel that way. A little bit, yes. Yes, 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 yes. This is like a real thing. And in fact, it's so real that I know so many people that are absolutely paralyzed by this. But what's funny is I know more people who have like strings of letters after their name and they aren't doing a damn thing. They have all the knowledge in the world, but they aren't doing anything because they're completely paralyzed. So more in the online business is not better, right? More is not better. Why? Because people have to know you freaking care. People have to know you care before they care how much you know, right? So people don't really care how much you know about fat loss or exercise or stretching or whatever it is. They don't care until they know that you freaking care about them, right? You've got to care about the people. And then once they know you care, then they care what you know. But you only need to know more than your client, right? So more is not better. Knowing who you are also involves trusting that you're the expert, right? So Brendan Burchard talks about the 3 types of experts, and I want you to write these down. It is role model, researcher, and results getter. Role model, researcher, and results getter. Those are the 3 types of experts. Results getter is a person who likes to just get the results, right? They get the results. They're always after the result. Researcher is someone who kind of has all the knowledge, they have certifications, they like the science behind stuff. And then the role model is just someone who kind of walks the walk, like Jamie Eason. She's a role model expert. She doesn't really know anything about fitness or health or nutrition, but she's a role model expert. People will do whatever she says because look at her, right? Like, look at her body. So they don't think about the genetics part, right? But she is that type of expert. So when you think about that, ultimately, you're already one, if not more, of those types of experts. You only need to be one type. And I can promise you that all of you are one type, if not more. Eventually, yes, you will be all 3 types, but there is no better time to start than right now. You can totally get a certification after you start your online business. You can totally help more people after you get your online business. You can start walking the walk even more, right? If you're coaching people on health and fitness and you're not ripped and shredded, that's actually a good thing because, again, people aren't hiring the most shredded trainer online. They're hiring someone who they know that cares about them and gets them and understands them. I would never hire a trainer who told me to eat out of Tupperwares because that's what they did, because they're perfect, right? That's not real life. I want a trainer who's been there, who binged at night, who, drinks a soda every now and then and eats a cake. That's what I want, right? So people don't want perfect. And the thing is with an expert is you don't need to be all 3 types, because if you have a solution, and you need to write this down, if I have a solution for someone, if I have something to teach someone that's going to help them, then isn't it your job to do it? Like, aren't you kind of withholding that information, right? So just because you in your mind don't think you're an expert, if you could help me or someone else become better, do something better, learn a different way, then you kind of have to become, start a business and help more people and build a product or service that's going to help them, right? So this is all mindset, right? And I'm going to tell you right now that you are the expert because you are the one doing it, right? So it's easier to keep ideas as ideas because there's no risk, right? There's no risk in just saying, I want to build an online business, or I want to help people with blank, 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 and then not doing it, right? Because you're playing the safe game. But you feel like, oh my God, what if someone calls me out? What if I'm a fraud? But there's a lot to be said in faking it till you make it. So you gotta do it, and you have to tell everyone how amazing it is, and you have to have the confidence, because no one can have that confidence for you, right? Like, your husband's not going to tell you that you're killing it until you tell him that you're killing it, right? The first year, and I'm not even going to lie to you, the first year I walked around and I was like, oh my God, Mom Beyond Baby is crushing. I wasn't making any money, but I still had a message. I knew what I was doing was going to reach people. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm killing it. Like I was literally walking around. And then all of a sudden, like I was believing it. I was acting like it. And everyone else was like, oh my God, look at Shira. Like, what is she doing over there? Look at her. She's killing it, right? So yes, there is important part to being an expert and getting certifications and having knowledge, but you don't need to know it all because no one cares. No one cares that you know it all. No one wants perfect. They want someone who cares. Okay, so remember that. Friend first, teacher later. All of you on this line right now can be a friend to someone and can help someone. If you can help one person make a change in their life, do something better, show them a different way, then you ought to share that information. And then you definitely need to be paid for it, right? Are you with me? Yes? Can you give me yes if you're with me? So you don't need more to be more, okay? So JFK says, there are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Wow, I'm gonna read that one more time. There are risks and costs to action, absolutely, right? There's always a risk, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Nothing gets us farther than taking action. Cool, yes. Woohoo, got it, I love it. All right, here we go. Now, let's talk about what lights you up, right? How cute is this little girl, by the way? Is she like the cutest thing ever? Those eyes. So this part of passion and branding is about what gives you clarity in your business. And there is nothing worse than trying to build a business all foggy. Like you're like, where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know who I'm talking to. You're telling me to write content and I don't even know what I like. I don't know what I stand for, right? So if you just start launching a product or service without knowing these things, people don't buy, and you haven't created a tribe, you haven't built a relationship, and no one buys, then it's crickets, right? Then it is like, oh my God, what's going on? So when you think about your voice and your passion, I want you to think about what fires you up, what keeps you up at night. So if I met you at the coffee shop and within 10 minutes, what would we start talking about? So, and it's got to be something more than your kids. So I want you to think about it. So it's hard because so many times it is our kids. We're like, oh my God, look at Kai and Sydney and blah, blah, blah. But let's take a minute to think about you down to the core. So in Business Beyond Baby, I go into this exclusively. You get like fun sheets with questions and all this stuff to kind of get you further and ask you those deep questions. But this is super important to think about what lights you up. So think about things, whether maybe you're in the health and fitness industry and you're thinking about what lights you up. Like, does meal prepping on Sundays like light you up? Does people doing extreme forms of exercises postpartum light you up? Does people doing, I don't know, like think of the things that people are doing now and what does it light you up? Like we talk about in the Healthy Mom Lifestyle Club all the time, we talk about like the pink drink and like all of, the quick fixes, like that stuff lights me up. I could go on and on and on about quick fix. I could go on and on about moms not giving themselves self-care. I could go on and on about online business. Like knowing that stuff makes it so clear and so unfoggy so that we know who we're talking to and we know what we're going to create when we talk about creating a product or service. So we talk about voice, passion, and brand. What could you talk about for hours? So think about that. Write this stuff down. Now, this is stuff you guys are going to think about all week long. Probably too much, right? And what do people come to you about? So if you asked 10 people, what am I good at? Like when you think of me, like what do you think of? They're gonna be like, oh, you're like the girl who's like working out at home, or you're always the one who knows about blank. What do you know about? What are people coming to you? So in other words, what's your unique ability, right? So do you solve problems really well? Do you build relationships? Do you give advice? When you think about your passion and your brand. So you want to think about what you could talk about, but you also want to think about what people are already coming to you for. Is it finances? Is it fitness advice? Business? What do you want to be known for? Ultimately, what is it you want to be known for? That's super important to think about when we talk about what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for the girl who does what? For the woman who teaches blank. What is that? Okay, so it's all about what fires you up, what gets you, when you think about whatever it is, you start to get so excited, like it almost drives you crazy. Like think about, like for me, like I said, Tupperwares, extreme exercise postpartum, kids stuff, self-care. Everybody, I want you to write one thing in the chat box right now that comes to mind. When you think about one thing that gets you super fired up, what is it? What's one thing right now that you can think of in where you're thinking your target market is, where you're thinking the people you want to serve? What's that one thing that gets you like super fired up? We could get on the phone and talk about it for 20 minutes. You could tell me all about it. You could tell me why it bothers you. It's kind of like a little ranty, but you're not going to rant. It's just like kind of gets you fired up. What's one thing in your space, in your industry, in life, on Facebook, besides Donald Trump, that gets you like super fired up? Just kidding, I had to throw it in. Marketing and business, love it. Strategies, love it. Postpartum, yes. Self-image, body acceptance, girls, sports, lots of women's stuff out there right now for sure. Yes, hacks, I love it. New mommy hacks. Travel, love it. Finding yourself, absolutely. Finding yourself, knowing yourself. Cool, good stuff, guys, good stuff. So I want you to continue to think on this as we go. So I want everyone to grab a piece of paper, if you have a piece of paper, Post-it, something, and we're gonna do something called the airport test. And we're not gonna finish it tonight, but I just wanna get you started on it. This is something I want you to take some time tomorrow, later tonight, to do this. Love this. Women of strength, menopause, dressing every body type, love it. Self-care, encouraging mamas, holistic healthcare. So good, so good. So you're gonna get a piece of paper, and if you don't have a piece of paper, just kind of write the directions down, or you can listen to the replay and I'll tell you again how to do it. So you're gonna take a piece of paper, a regular size piece of paper, plain, and you're gonna fold it into fours, or just draw a line down and a line horizontal to make 4 boxes, okay? So what you're gonna do there is you're going to label the 4 boxes into 4 areas that mean the most to you. So for me, it was family, health, professional life, and finances. Those are 4 areas that came to mind when I thought of this. So you're gonna write down 4 areas that mean the most to you. So again, mine were family, health, professional, and finances. And each box gets its own little label, right? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna sit down, and we're not gonna finish it tonight. You're gonna sit down. I encourage you to sit down with yourself, and then this is a really good activity to do with your husband or your significant other. And you're gonna write down your reality 5 years from now. So this is not like a dream board. It's not a vision board. This is the reality, okay? So for example, for family, I said, we've been married for 10 years and we still love each other. Both of our kids are homeschooled, and we travel a lot. As a family, we take at least 5 vacations a year. So that's the reality. I'm not dreaming like I hope to build a blah, blah, blah. That's like the reality. Like, we've been married 5 years. So in 5 years, we'll be married for 10 years and we still love each other. Like, we still get along, we still love each other. For health, I said I have more energy than I've ever had. I've run another marathon. I've done a CrossFit competition. That's like the reality in 5 years. Those are things that are going to happen in my life in 5 years. Professional, I'm getting paid to speak. Trent is home full time as a result of Mom Beyond Baby. I have a small team working under me for Mom Beyond Baby. So those are things that have happened in 5 years. Okay, are you guys getting what I'm saying? So it's not like a goal sheet. It's the reality in 5 years. And then finances were like, college funds were paid. We own property out west. I've surprised my family with an all paid, vacation. We've made enough money to do blank, 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 Okay, so those are just like examples. So I really want you to do this. I think this is beneficial for everyone, whether you do an online business or not. I think this is super important. What the hell do I mean by airport test, by the way? Is anyone like, why is there an airplane on this? So the airport test is a test that they use in Keller Williams. And basically what it is, it's getting down to like your character. And so the airport test basically says you're in the airport and you're traveling and you meet someone who you've known and you haven't seen them in 5 years. You sit down for coffee and you tell them, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in 5 years. What's been going on? That's what they say. What's been going on? And then you say, holy crap, Mommy and baby is killing it. And oh, Trent is home full time. Oh my gosh, we've been married 10 years. We're homeschooling our kids. We actually travel. We live, out west for 3 months out of the year. And I just did a CrossFit competition, right? So I'm speaking 5 years from now. So that's what I mean by the airport test, right? So you're probably like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? So is everybody good on that? So that's something we're going to discuss in the Facebook group. I'm actually going to have you post pictures, snapshots of your airport test as you get them done. Again, I know that you're not going to get them done tonight, but as you get them done, I would love for you to share them. If you don't want to share them publicly, then you're going to share them with me on the call, hopefully, if we can hop on the phone. So I think this is something super important because 5 years is kind of nothing. It's the drop in the bucket. We know that, right? Our kids are 5 like tomorrow. So 4 areas and get super specific and just imagine you meet someone at the airport and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what's going on. And you just like go on and on. Okay, good? Are we good? Everyone's good on the airport test? Just remember the most important thing is to keep the most important thing, right? So bottom line is what's important right now, right? Because there's so much noise in the online space and it's super important to remember the most important thing. And we are getting into the online business. We are building an online business for what? What's the most important thing, right? So we are going to solve people's problems. We are going to help people. We're going to make money. We are going to have freedom. Just remember the most important thing is the most important thing, all right? So now we have another exercise called your one sentence. So we talked about branding. We talked about being a personality brand. We talked about who you're going to serve and getting super specific with that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to just take a moment, and it probably won't be right now. You're going to take a moment to do this exercise. So you're going to take 1 page of paper and you're going to jot down your thoughts about your business and who you're going to serve and what you're going to create. And then you're going to just free write. Doesn't matter if there's grammar or spelling or any of that stuff. So 1 full page and you're just going to free write all of your thoughts. I want to help moms do this. I want to help women do this. I want to allow women to see that they shouldn't get on the scale and blah, 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 right? So you're going to keep writing. Then you're going to condense that 1 page into a paragraph. So think 3 to 5 sentences. Then you're going to condense that into 1 sentence. So at the end of the day, you have 1 sentence that says, I teach blank how to blank. End of the day, you have 1 sentence that says, I teach blank how to blank. And play with it. See how it feels. Does it roll off your tongue? Does it sound crazy? Like, I've changed mine since I started my business, and I had to practice saying it because it's kind of like your elevator pitch. When people come up to you and they're like, oh my gosh, Mom, you run what? You do what? Like, people are like, are you like one of those bloggers? I'm like, no, I'm not one of those bloggers, but this is what I do. I teach moms how to become their best self through fitness, nutrition, and business. That's what I do. I teach moms how to do that. And so it comes off really easy now, but the first time I was like, I help moms become, I didn't even know what I was saying. My I teach statement used to say something about I teach women how to lose fat, eat intuitively, and get fit. I don't even know, but it was definitely not what it is now. Totally fine, business evolves. So kind of that's your goal. You're going to make an I teach statement, okay? So that's another one of your jobs. I want everyone to kind of present that, and I'll be asking for those in the group this week. So now we have that. Let's look at this Venn diagram. So this is one of the crucial steps of developing a business beyond baby. The middle is the purpose, right? So that red square in the middle is purpose. So you see the different pieces that you need. You have to love it, the world needs it, you're paid for it, and you're great at it. So the intersection of all of these things is your purpose, right? So this is thinking outside the box. There are very, very few people who are doing their purpose. There are a lot of people doing what they're good at. There are a lot of people doing what they're paid for. There's a lot of people doing maybe what the world needs, maybe what they like. But there's very few people who are at the intersection of all four of these circles, right? So this is where the magic happens. This is where we get paid to focus on these other things, right? So this is when we create a product or service that the world, your world, the people who you're talking to, they need. And now that you're doing what you love, you're creating it, you're being good at it, right? So people ask me all the time, like how I built Mom Beyond Baby. So I just, how I created Business Beyond Baby, I just had moms like asking me like, how did you do this? And can you help me do it? And blah, blah, blah. So I absolutely love helping moms do it. I'm really good at coaching and teaching women systems. The world needs it. My moms need to know a system of how to create a business, and I get paid for it. So it's kind of an intersection of all those things. So this is super, super powerful. So definitely take a screenshot of this if you haven't already. And you don't have to be like really good at everything because you get better. So you're going to get better at writing, at making videos, at being, creative if you're not super creative yet. But you need to be somewhat good at it. It needs to be one of your gifts that you have. So this is kind of the intersection of the online business. Yes, Christine, there will be a replay. So your business starts with passion. We talked about it, and it has to be something that you love or you won't do it, right? Because you don't have a boss. Being an entrepreneur is hard because you have to work when you tell yourself you have to work. No one's like requesting stuff from you. No one's going to tell you have a deadline, that you have to have something out, right? You kind of have to have that tenacity to kind of do it on your own. So you get to create it all. You get to create your schedule. But you have to be passionate about it, right? But that being said, you do need more than a passion. You have to have the skills and the systems to kind of create the business. So I think you're all here because you all have the passion. And now we've kind of narrowed it down. We've talked about brand. You're getting a little bit more specific. So that's kind of what we're working on now. And then we're going to talk more about the skills and the systems. You can't do it on just passion, right? You've got to have an audience. You have to know your customer. You have to know how to create a product or service. You have to know how to launch that product or service. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a business, but at the end of the day, you absolutely do have to like it, right? So again, life on purpose, living forward, living intentionally, super, super important. So the purposes of an online business: make an impact and make a living, right? So we're talking about passion and purpose. We're talking about getting more eyes on your stuff. So if you're someone who does a lot of in-person stuff now, you're getting more eyes on your stuff when you go online, right? You're fulfilled, you have more outcomes. And again, you're building trust, right? We're talking about the trust business. People know, like, and trust you. You're trading time for dollars. And at the end of the day, you have something of your own, something of your very own. So I remember when I was in Beachbody, I was doing really well, but I thought, gosh, what if this company goes under, right? I don't have anything of my own. I'm just this company, and I don't want to be that. I want to be my own person. To be successful, you need relatedness and authenticity. We're going to go into some of this more next week. Consistent content. Again, we're going to dig into that. And then solving problems and having a solution. So I just wanted to go over this because I think it's super important. You need those three things. If you have those three things, you will be successful. You don't need to see the whole staircase, right? You just have to take that first step. You're here, you're on these trainings. Many of you will apply for Business Beyond Baby. You're taking those steps to be successful because there's a lot of stuff out there, and you gotta have a system. You gotta know what you're doing. Be 100% authentic all the time. Just remember this. This is a key to what I will always teach you into creating your business. It's effortless, guys. Just showing up as you are is effortless. it's your life. You're just showing who you are and what you stand for and your experiences. You're building trust, creating raving fans. Remember, people want to know you. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? They want to know things about you. So when I say knowables, I'm talking about like quirks. Like, do you like coffee? Do you drink wine? Like, what kind of exercise do you do? Like, people like to know that stuff. I mean, look at Snapchat. Look at Insta stories, right? People are nosy. They want to know you because they want to form that relationship with you, right? They want to interact with you. And at the end, you make a bigger impact, right? Because your message attracts and repels your audience. When people know you, you have the know, like, and trust factor, which you can never, ever, ever replace with anything. People hire coaches. They don't hire coaching, right? So people hire coaches because they like the person, they trust the person. They don't hire someone with the best stuff if they don't relate to the person, right? So just remember that. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. Fear is good. Like self-doubt, fear is an indicator. Fear tells us what we have to do. So if you're having a little sense of fear, which I know a lot of us are, that's important, you know, because remember, rule of thumb, the more scared we are of work or calling, the more sure we can be that we have to do it. All right, so remember, the more scared we are of a work or calling, the more sure we can that we have to do it. And this is one of my girls from Business Beyond Baby this year, and I just wanted to put this out because it totally relates to what we're talking about tonight. So she says, I now have the confidence to put myself out there and have started my business. I have a website, a blog, social media accounts, an email list, and subscribers. People really need to hear what I have to say, and that mindset came from you in Business Beyond Baby. You taught me that I have to put myself out there and showed me how to make this work. I've learned how to manage my time better, so I'm a better mom, wife, employee, and entrepreneur. I am so thrilled I finally found someone who was willing to help me discover who I am and what I know and help me turn that into how I can help women and actually have my own business. So this is Nikki of Nikki Marie Fitness. She has a full-time job, and it's funny because when she joined Business Beyond Baby, she's like, I don't know if I really want to make this like a thing. I'm just going to do it kind of like a side job. And now she's, you know, making an income, and obviously it's growing, and she's kind of, we just laugh about it because she's come so far in such a short amount of time. So I just wanted to share that because it's so much about the confidence of putting yourself out there, being authentic, showing up is so, so important when we talk about Business Beyond Baby and, you know, creating that online business that you want. So passion is super important. Yes, we have to have it, and we have to have that purpose to in turn use all of the other stuff that's out there. Because again, there's so much noise and there's so much out there. So that's pretty much it as far as this session will go. I would want you to book a free chat with me. So ShiraNelson.com/WTE call. Totally free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you more. If you want to talk more about your business ideas, your passion, your customer, any of that stuff, book a call. It's totally free, 20, 30 minutes, and we'll just chat. We'll just talk more if you want to refine that I teach statement, if you want to talk more about who you want to serve, if you want to talk about your idea and see how to make it online, if you're just like kind of overwhelmed, you're not really sure, you just want to talk about your ideas, just book a call. Again, totally free, and we just get on the phone and chat. I've talked with a lot of you guys already, and I think they've been super helpful. Like, we leave with a game plan, with whether you really want to take this online, maybe it's not a good time, whatever it is. But I think it's a really good thing for everybody to do, and I'll be offering these for the entire 6 weeks, just to hop on the phone and chat business, chat ideas, all of this stuff. So as we move forward into the Facebook group, so we are going to talk about that airport test. So make sure you did that. We're going to talk about the qualities. We're going to talk about your one sentence. As we move forward this week, we're going to talk all about that, kind of navigate our way through it. So I'm not just like leaving you hanging. So you have me all week until next week. Our session is going to be more about the what of online business. So we're going to get more into content and things like that. So that being said, does anyone have any questions tonight? It can be about this content. It can be about anything. Any questions for me? Just write it in the chat box, and I'm happy to answer anything you have. Definitely book that call if you haven't, if you get a chance, and I'll post that in the Facebook group as well. of course, if you're watching the replay too. So any questions for me? While I'm on. The recording will be available after this. What happened to the video? Did it go blank? No questions, but this was awesome. Awesome is the airport test. What we want. Yes, that's the 5-year thing. Yep. Yes. Holy crap. So Mom Beyond Baby started out, so I was doing Beachbody, and then I was like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm just selling all the time, and I didn't like that feeling, and I had so much to share, like with moms, and I wanted to like talk about other stuff besides like challenge groups and the 21-day fix. I'm so sorry about that, Allison. So hopefully the replay didn't do that. Hopefully. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. And so I started out and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a blog. So I went on Blogger. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing. I made it on Blogger. It was the worst blog ever. I didn't even know what I was saying. I had no voice. All this stuff I'm talking about, like I was like, I'm just gonna write. And it was mostly like Beachbody focused. Like I was always trying to sell something because I didn't know another way. I didn't know that I could create my own thing. And so yeah, so I started on Blogger. I was like, when I started really getting serious, I was like, subscribers? What do you mean subscribers? Email list? I don't even know what that means, email list. Like I had no idea what I was doing. So yes, it did start as a blog, and then I just knew I wanted to like make money, and I wanted to have something of my own, and I wanted to work from home. So all of that stuff were like my goals, but I had no idea what I was doing it. And then I got serious and hired a business coach. And I was like, I told Trent, I'm like, I have to go all in. Like, I have to figure out how to monetize this blog. I have to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And so I hired a business coach, and I told him after I did it, of course, I was like, by the way, honey, I just signed up for a business coach. He's like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And that's when I got serious. And that's when I started to make money, and I started to have my own thing. And I like left Beachbody and really understood my voice and what I really wanted. I knew how to create a product and service. All that stuff was kind of like, oh, you know, so yeah, so it was bad. Like I remember when I was making my logo, and the guy went over to see my blogger, and he was like, that is really bad. He's like, that's like one of the worst bloggers I've ever seen. I'm like, thanks. But anyway, so yeah, so it was bad, but here I am now, right? So yes, it was crazy. I wish I had a picture of it. Can hear you, can see your slides. No, you cannot see me right now, just the slides. It's always nerve-wracking to ask others. I'll get a box. Awesome. Yes, definitely include your husband. Totally. I just had Trent do that for me last night. I had him tell me 5 things about me. I can let you see me though. There I am. I'm eating chocolate. But I'm here. Hi. Can you see me now? I told you guys, mom look, mom look. I'm so glad you found me too. I get the best women ever. Like the girls in my business coaching, I'm like, can I just have like 25 of you, 50 of you, please? They're amazing. Every year I say that. I'm like, I have the best women. Why? Because I show up. I'm like really eating chocolate. I'm so sorry. I am. Chocolate's important. And my hair is like greasy. It's a hot mess. That's life, right? Any other questions for me? Are you guys excited? Yes? Ready to do it? Get the wheels turning. Are you excited to create a business? How many people go through? So last year I took 20, and I capped it at 20. This year I'm going to take 30. I'm going to take 20 at one level and then 10 at the higher level. So I'll take 30 this year. Last year I wanted to take 20 because you get a lot of coaching calls and it's a lot of access to me, and I just wasn't sure with Kai, but now I'm in a system, I have a schedule, I can get help. So yeah, so I'm gonna take 30. So I'm very excited about that. Yay, yay, cool. Definitely got the wheels turning, yay, and excited. Cool. Thank you. Cool. So next week we'll get more into this. So we're just gonna build like every time, right? So yes, Sarah, love you, yes. It's not the endpoint. And you can always, and I want everyone to know this, if you're in a network marketing company, you do not need to leave that company, but you can totally create your own thing and still do that. It can be like a piece of your business. It doesn't need to be your whole business. You can be the face of your business and you can still do something on the side, okay? Candace, awesome, yay, thank you so much for being here. Guys, book that call, get on the phone with me, right? It's like no risk, right? So will the levels be sequential? So if we do BBB this year, we would do the next level. Oh, so no, so the levels will be, there'll be 2 different levels. One will have a call every month and one won't, and then one will have an access day, like a VIP access day to me, either in person or Skype, where we just like double down on your business. And then after your first year of Business Beyond Baby, you have the option to begin alumni. So all the girls who are in now are continuing on and they're going to be alumni this year. So they get a few different things, and we do like an alumni only event, and then they still get access to me and like the membership site and all of that stuff. So you'll be seeing some of them. If you are in Business Beyond Baby 2017, you'll be seeing some of them. They'll have a thing on my website. So alumni is like that extra step. So yeah, so you pick your level for 2017 and then you go to alumni. Yeah. So I'll let you guys know when apps open for you all. Because I want you guys to get the 30 spots, right? Because you're here and you'll already know a lot, which is good for me. Cool, any other questions for me? Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I know you're busy, I know so much going on, and I really appreciate it. Means a lot. And we'll keep chatting in the Facebook group, right? So we'll keep talking about all this stuff, and you guys can ask me questions and we can just continue the conversation, and then we'll get into more stuff next week, okay? Thank you, Victoria. Yeah. I would never tell someone to quit if they don't want. I just think it can be a piece of your business. You can still create something because you have a voice outside of whatever it is you're working with. Awesome. Thanks, Dawn. Thanks for being here, girl. Cool. All right. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to let everybody go. Thanks again for being here. If you have anything else that comes up, pops up, if you want to share anything, if you want to book a call, go ahead and do all that stuff, and then we will meet again next Tuesday. All right. Have a good night, everybody.